Good morning. I'm Eric Eller, President of the African American Men of Westchester, and I want to thank all of the schools that participated in our 18th annual Business Skills Competition, one of AAMW's cornerstone events. AAMW is a group of men who are dedicated to helping address issues related to education, youth empowerment, domestic violence awareness, and environmental justice. Our goal is to design activities and provide programs that enrich the lives of young people and foster economic development in order to build strong communities that improve the lives of all county residents. After a challenging year in 2020, 2021 has become AAMW's 32nd year of delivering programs of value to Westchester County community. We are thankful for the relationship with Morgan Stanley, our partners in executing this event. That partnership, combined with the support of the school administrators, has enabled us to engage so many of the county's high schools. The competition involves a graduate level case requiring the teams to review the material, identify the problem, outline hurdles and obstacles, navigate and formulate a plan for success. We are also thankful for our event sponsors, Con Edison, Entergy, Westchester County, and the county legislators. Now let me turn this over to our Master of Ceremonies, AAMW's John Tuller. John?
Thanks, Eric. This is the first time we've had the competition conducted virtually for the student team discussions, the presentations of the solutions, and the award ceremony. This year's case was selected from a series of Harvard Business Review articles focused on business responses to the pandemic. The selected cases for evaluation is how business have successfully pivoted during the pandemic. Many thanks to Morgan Stanley facilitators who have guided the students during their meetings. Thanks to the distinguished panel of judges provided by both Morgan Stanley and AAMW. Now we'll get remarks from Morgan Stanley.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many of you join our first ever virtual award ceremony. For the past 3 years, I've been working with the African American Men of Westchester to help organize the annual Youth Business Skills Competition here at Morgan Stanley. And every year, I am more and more impressed at the hard work and dedication that all of you students put into your presentations. I know this year was especially tough, having to work with your facilitators remotely, but you made it work and you delivered stellar presentations. So congratulations to all of you for all the efforts that you put in. All of you are winners in my book, and I really hope to see some of you at Morgan Stanley a few years down the road. I also want to thank the African American Men of Westchester, because they have just been terrific partners in pivoting this incredible competition to a virtual format this year, as well as all the wonderful Morgan Stanley volunteer facilitators who dedicated their time over 2 days to work with the students to guide them through the case study. It really would not have been possible without everyone's commitment. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Alicia Williams. Alicia is the head of diversity and inclusion for the Morgan Stanley U.S. Banks business, and she advises and leads diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in conjunction with the CEO and COO of U.S. Banks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Youth Business Skills Competition with the African American Men of Westchester. Morgan Stanley is happy to be a long-standing partner with your organization. We're on year 6, so congratulations and happy to be here. In introducing myself, I'm Dr. Alicia Williams, and I am Head of Diversity and Inclusion for Morgan Stanley's U.S. Banks business. Personally, I'm happy to support these efforts in what I like to call your game-changing moments. Now, what does that mean? What is a game-changing moment? Well, that is when you have an opportunity to find a chance at changing the narrative for either yourself or for someone else, and essentially being a game changer. Myself, and being a Baltimore inner city native, raised by a single mother, I found myself often looking for these opportunities to really just change narratives. And I was lucky to find mine through track and field, where I was able to take that, expand my education, move on to wonderful places like Howard University. Shout out to any fellow Bison out there. And for you, now this is your moment. For today, I encourage you to get in the spirit of entrepreneurship. Learn more about the corporate culture, about the real world business problems that are impacting us today, whether we're virtual, but we're present. Ask questions, participate in conversations, and use this as a time to expand your network. Remember, exposure leads to expansion. My advice for tomorrow is remember your integrity is golden. You are golden, and you are on the brink of being a game changer. And here is your moment. So I encourage you to take advantage. Congratulations on all your success, and I'm wishing you the best. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. AMW's Leroy Frazier will give us an overview of the competition.
Thanks, John. Each school created teams of high school juniors and seniors for competition. The case and case guidelines were distributed to the schools several weeks ago. The teams held 2 1.5-hour virtual planning sessions culminating in the presentations of their solutions, which were limited to 5 minutes. The presentations were reviewed by the judges and scored on a 5-point scale in the 5 categories. They are the identification of issues, analysis of impact, proposed solutions, resourcefulness, and overall presentation. Congratulations to all the schools that participated in this year's competition.
Lincoln High School, Mount Vernon High School, Ossining High School, Peekskill High School, Port Chester High School, Riverside High School, Roosevelt High School, Saunders Technical and Trade High School, Valhalla High School, White Plains High School, Woodlands High School, Yonkers Middle High School, Yonkers Montessori High School.
Thanks, Leroy. Now, AAMW's Honorable Bruce Talbert will pronounce the judges.
Thanks, John. The judges for this year's competition are Norma Drummond, County Planning Commissioner, County of Westchester. Janet Gilpin, Morgan Stanley Vice President. Ken Jenkins, Deputy County Executive. Sharon Matthey, President of the Westchester Black Bar Association. Elizabeth Miller, Morgan Stanley Assistant Vice President. Jared Richardson, Morgan Stanley Executive Director. Lynette Spalding, White Plains City Court Judge. And Patty Susanna, Morgan Stanley Vice President. We thank you all.
Thanks, Bruce. AAMW Leroy Frazier will walk us through the winning presentations.
Thanks again, John. As a result of ties for both second and third place, for the first and maybe only time, we have 5 schools that are winners this year. This year's winners are third place, Peekskill High School and Yonkers Middle High School. Second place, Mount Vernon High School and Yonkers Montessori High School. First place, Valhalla High School. Congratulations to all the winners, and here are excerpts from their presentations.
Hello, my name is Elisa from Peekskill High School, and for this Business Olympics project, I'm joined by Ashley, Hannah, and Daniela. And so for our industry, we chose the hospitality industry with a subset of travel and tourism because of the severe COVID impact and then the subsequent potential opportunities that the industry may have. The impact is seen on the number of jobs lost as well as the recovery rate. So 143 million jobs were lost, and the hospitality industry contributes a 39% share of unemployment as well as a 16% unemployment rate. There is also a negative 20.4% recovery rate in the hospitality industry, which shows the unevenness compared to other industries in the US. And then in terms of economics, there is a $194 billion revenue typically coming from hotels and motels, as well as $1.6 trillion in global bookings, but these are in the more normal times. And for now, the consumer demand is not expected to recover to its pre-pandemic levels until 2023. So as a result of the pandemic, we have those effects, and then we have the short-term and long-term impacts. For short term, there are lost customers due to safety concerns and quarantines. So as people have to stay home, they may also not want to travel and go anywhere. So the business faces lost customers due to that, and then therefore lost revenue. There's also bankruptcy due to lost jobs, and then the dollars that have been lost due to lost customers. There are also job losses. Long term, the hospitality industry faces a slow recovery, as seen from the recovery rate, and loans or debt that they may have to repay, as well as maintaining the uniqueness of the brand. So, a lot of things happened in person, and now the brands have to figure out a way how to make themselves more distinguished and original when everything is through Zoom or socially distanced. As well as they also have to maintain the safety protocol going into the future so that people will want to come back on their own accord and they will feel safe enough to do so. With customer suggestions, so the customer can design their own stay, and then that would allow them to feel more engaged with the business, and that not only will they be able to return safely, but it will be to a destination that they almost helped to design their experience with. And those are our solutions. Thank you.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Warren, here with Ottawa, Randy, Dorothy, Joseph, Mackay, and Stefano, and we are the Yonkers Middle High School Business Olympics team. In 2020, early 2020, the pandemic hit us in a very unique way. The companies that were spread throughout the world had to close down because of the many different quarantines that were going on throughout the globe. For this investigation's sake, we will specifically take an in-depth look at Starbucks and how Starbucks was able to adapt to these changes and continue to thrive throughout the global pandemic. Here's Ottawa with what exactly happened during the beginning of that terrible year.
Prior to Warren's introduction, our company Starbucks has done a lot during the pandemic crisis. But before the pandemic, what most teens and young adults used to know Starbucks as was a more fun, bustling, efficient place where you can engage, get a drink of coffee, tea, and mingle with your peers. Obviously, the place was more suited and tailored to a more in-person experience than what we have now, which is more virtual. However, Starbucks has taken the course of the virtual approach and used it to their advantage to make sure it boosts its growth and sales within the business. Now, Mackay will tell us what those short terms are.
Thank you, Otto. As you may know, the COVID-19 pandemic came very unexpectedly. But wait, what did Starbucks do differently than other competitive coffee brands such as Dunkin'? See, companies like Dunkin' may have had Charlie and Dixie, the TikTok influencers, with their own Dunkin' drink. But Starbucks lets all create their own personal drinks, not only celebrities, but their loyal customers' drinks can blow up on TikTok and be a staple in all their stores. Now I'm going to transition to Ottawa to explain how Starbucks implemented long-term effects.
Ideas like these would include two approaches: one, going to more sustainable approaches in the environment, and their digital presence online with their mobile app. Their sustainable resources and approaches are meant to conserve more on the products they use, because now during a time, resources like that are more limited.
Starbucks has been able to successfully adapt to these changes, implementing strategies that are beneficial both in the immediate future and in the long run. With these strategies in place, the company will no doubt continue to thrive throughout the pandemic, as well as for many more years to come. Thank you very much.
Hello, we are the Mount Vernon High School Knights. My name is Ismail Blindwire, and today I'm joined by Brielle Rennish, Jabari Brees, Azariah Robinson, Jaden Murphy, Toby Alatona, and Tony and Rattery. Today we will be presenting our analysis of the cruise ship segment of the hospitality industry. Now here's Tony Ann to present our rationale.
Thank you, Izmir. We chose the cruise ship industry because it includes all elements of the hospitality industry, including hotel, restaurants, travel, entertainment, and tourism. It is also a multi-billion-dollar industry, employing hundreds of thousands of people. Finally, It is an industry that has been affected significantly by COVID, even more than other hospitality segments. And now, here's Brielle to present our situation analysis.
Thank you, Tony Ann. Over the past 10 years, the cruise ship industry has been growing constantly, with 2019 being the best year ever. But with COVID, there were many virus outbreaks on ships. Passengers and crew had to quarantine often for weeks or more. In March 2020, the CDC issued a no-sail order for all cruise ships, which is still in effect today. $32 billion and 250,000 jobs were lost last year in the US alone. Next, Jabari will present our pivot solutions in the industry.
Safety. Ships need more doctors and medical facilities to reassure passengers and make sure they are safe. They should offer virus testing and vaccines on board. This can be expensive, but long-term, these investments can be used as a part of ship activities.
Ships can also develop apps that will show how crowded different parts of the ships are to help passengers decide where it is to go safely.
These events can also be streamed to people who are not on the ship to increase the number of customers. Another idea is to take advantage of the remote work trend. Ships could offer work-in vacations or do business conferences on board. They could even hold events like gaming conventions, fashion shows, food and wine fairs, etc. Passengers attend live, but others could participate with live streams. By taking advantage of new off-ship customers, cruise lines can add to their profit. Now, here is Brielle to present the conclusion.
Thank you, Tony Ann. In summary, we believe that the cruise ship industry should focus on both fun and safety, as well as value and service. These changes we suggest will help the industry in the short term to develop with the effects of the pandemic, but will also have benefits in the long term by increasing interest in cruising and making sure ships are safe even during future virus outbreaks. Although there are still tough times ahead for the industry, we feel that cruise ships can make a really strong comeback when the ships start to sail again. Thank you for your attention, and we hope to see you on a future cruise. Go Knights!
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ethan Courtney.
And my name is Martin Foley.
And we're from YMA, Yonkers Montessori Academy. Today, in our roster, we have Jaina, Kiva, Emma, Anthony, Alessandro, Clevis, and Christian.
Throughout the coronavirus pandemic, many businesses have faced financial hardship. These companies were forced to make quick-witted decisions in order to recover from the damages that they incurred. Unlike other streaming services, Spotify disproportionately relies on free users for a large part of its revenue, compared to Apple Music, who relies entirely on subscriptions for their revenue. So when the pandemic hit, Spotify was left with a huge deficit that needed to be filled.
How did Spotify pivot during the pandemic? One of the main reasons Spotify was able to pivot was the fact that they attracted more podcasters and exclusive rights to those podcasts, especially from the Joe Rogan podcast. This attracted millions and millions of people to the app because a lot of people are driven podcast listeners, whether it's them going to the park in the NYC or it's them staying at home and doing homework. Podcasts are a huge part of our lives.
Spotify has many strengths as a platform. It's the #1 music streaming service, so it's already very popular and has great name recognition. It's a free app, and you can download it. You have a free service available with a premium service that you can pay $5 or $10 a month for that has many premium features, such as the ability to download music and listen to your favorite artist songs earlier.
The struggles with Spotify is the fact that they rely so heavily on free users, which is a problem. During the pandemic, with so many people losing their jobs and facing issues of staying in their house and stuff, people weren't able to pay for the subscriptions, and that lost a huge amount of users. So that's the main reasons why Spotify struggled.
They will also be able to fill out immediately. You can get your audiobooks really quick, and it'll be a great business plan. While they're on Spotify for their books, they can go on for music too. So it's a symbiotic relationship that helps their business model and keeps people on Spotify.
Having those athletes promote Spotify and do commercials promoting Spotify would be a huge deal, and it will bring so many people to the app because it will create a reliability to the consumer.
So to conclude, Spotify can create an audiobook and ebook section on their tab. They can receive celebrity endorsements and create loyalty rewards for their top listeners. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. My name is Makai Miller, and I am representing Valhalla High School alongside Yaneli Sandoval, Steven Spoda, and Jordan Williams in the African American Men of Westchester's 2021 Business Skills Olympics. Presenting for the club today are Sarah Bartlett, Ea Nduka, Alex Rosado, and Gabriela Shikapwasha. Today, we will be analyzing pivots required in the food sector with a focus on small businesses.
Food sector stocks are considered cyclical stocks that soar when the economy is booming and fall flat as the economy busts. The sector is currently struggling as we are in an economic recession, but as the economy returns to normal, economists expect the sector to follow suit. However, how are businesses to stay afloat in the interim? While well-established giants in the food industry will be able to survive, the same cannot be said for small businesses who have to retain customers, reach new ones, cut costs, and find reliable suppliers to survive their already tight.
Mass unemployment had less of an impact on larger businesses because their initial system accommodated COVID protocols. Corporations such as McDonald's and Wendy's are comfortable because they already had delivery, takeout, interactive online websites, and even drive-thrus. In contrast, smaller businesses were more susceptible to the negative impacts of COVID because their systems weren't as advanced. Since the beginning of quarantine, engagement with guests declined, leading to a decrease in income.
Those who registered with online ordering and delivery companies such as Uber Eats, Grubhub, and the coveted DoorDash have seen a substantial growth in profit. DoorDash reports that 75% were able to reach a wider customer base. Gaining new consumers in the midst of the pandemic is notable as the case study makes the point that consumers are now holding brands and companies to a higher standard than previously. That being said, we also recommend that food establishments make all COVID accommodations apparent through keeping their internet profiles up to date and listening to consumer feedback.
To increase margins, we also recommend that businesses increase their hours of operation as guideline ease to increase profits. However, we recognize that it is not an option for all businesses, as some do not have the money necessary to cover those hours.
As this is one of the worst recessions that the food sector has seen in a very long time, we urge small businesses in particular to take advantage of government resources. The U.S. Small Business Administration has made various forms of assistance available, like the Paycheck Protection Program and the COVID-19 Economic Injury Disaster Loan. The Village Creamery, a family-owned ice cream shop in our town, told us that they were able to stay afloat thanks to a PPP loan for payroll purposes and an EIDL loan. While these loans worked well for the Village Creamery, it is not a guarantee that said loans would work well for all businesses. So we encourage businesses to visit SBA.gov and take the time to ensure that they are choosing the right loan, if any. Loan or no loan, cutting unnecessary expenses is a necessity. Through budgeting on a monthly or even a weekly basis, businesses could precisely calculate how much they need to spend on supplies. As inflation of prices has also significantly injured the food industry, we recommend ordering from smaller and cheaper suppliers to ultimately allow for an increase in revenue. The technological, consumer-friendly, and cost-centric pivots presented are lateral extensions of existing capabilities that offer a sustainable path to profitability while leaving room for original brand value. Through making each of our pivots, we believe that the food sector and the many small businesses that comprise it should be able to survive the pandemic, but not without your help. Last but not least, we call on you to vote with your fork and support your local small businesses. Thank you.
Now, Morgan Stanley and AAMW will give us their closing remarks.
First, thank everybody for a job well done and a lot of hard work as it relates to this presentation and the case study. I think it's nothing short of impressive what all of you have done to date in regards to this exercise. I hope you feel like I feel in just reading over the case study that this gave you a glimpse and somewhat of an exposure to the real world, and that you could actually take some pieces of the case story and actually incorporate it into your real life, right? This pandemic has been unprecedented. The last pandemic we had was 100 years ago, Spanish flu, and the way businesses are responding from it is nothing short than fantastic, and just using a lot of creativity. It's great to see all the perspectives that actually came about this case study, and I hope that you've made some lifelong connections and some things that will change your life. The last thing I would say is, I wanted to give a special thanks to everybody in the background at Morgan Stanley. This truly reflects, our core values to do the right thing and actually, give back in the communities that we serve. And I hope that all of you who are involved in the competition realize that.
It's a wrap. Once again, a successful competition. We thank all of those schools and administrators specifically who participated in this event. We'd like to also really take time to recognize the effort, energy, and professionalism presented to us by Morgan Stanley employees Namita Kamath and Lauren Zadie. You guys are the best. Once again, join us next year. We'll see you then.